Hello, Fatma. I can see you online. I think so. I should wait a little more for more students to jump in. Otherwise, we're just going to start in a minute or so. Okay, now I think so. I've given 3 minutes. It's more than enough. Thank you so much for being there. Now I should start my module 4 on being English for business communication. That is the image making with impressive presentation. As going through going back on the first three modules related to that, there's the last part of English for business communication, and we are just going to focus in detail on the presentation making. What should be there? What tools are going to be applied? What techniques should be opted for your impressive presentation? I was very much clear from the first module, and I keep on reminding also why to use these all tactics just to impress, just to convince, to persuade the client. So everything matters a lot in creating the impression. So the last phase we are here on the presentation making. And keep yourself with me, because there's an activity in it also, and they go do a quick activity. You're going to be part of it. If you want to communicate, I will open your microphone. You can write it down your comment. We can reply on the messaging as well. It is all up to you. Okay. Now, I would like to give you a quick overview of business communication. What we are, studying, why this module has been designed. It's a part of a business communication. It's one of the tool, and very impressive tool, and how it's going to be, used rightly for our own benefits. For conveying the message, impressively and rightly. Your message, you should be aware about that your message should be understood to the other person. If and it is the duplication of your sayings, whatever you are saying, and with the presentation that's giving you a tool and a backup to impose and your meaning to the other person who is listening to your ideas. The English is the main tool, basically, that is being spoken most of the world. for the business communication. It's a very important aspect of business nowadays, for the communication, purposes. As in today's world, the business has become a very competitive phenomena. So market research has revealed that the organizations that can communicate well, they can sell their products very well. And we have seen in our marketing process, in our daily lives all around us. The companies are taking a lot of, help of tools like the advertisements. They are conveying to the other people the message to the other. Hi, Zaryab. Welcome. A little late, but welcome. We haven't started yet. I'm just giving you the overview of business communication. Okay. For that, different tools are taken for effective relationship building, like conversation, meetings, conflict solving, negotiation, that we have already done and discussed in details. And we have, made the models also that should be opted per our own, framework. This module, Zaryab, as you have just joined in, this module is focusing on the image making by the help of the presentation. And effective communication promotes the spirit of understanding and cooperation. So the last module we have touched, Zaryab. I just want to give you a quick overview of this slide again. As a latecomer, we have touched that, the conversation, the meeting, the structure, your conversation style, the understanding of the cultural diversity, the conflict solving, the negotiation, if they are going to be there, how you're going to solve that. We have touched all that, the tools, the techniques, and the models, what we made in all previous modules 1 to 3. Now, in the last module of the business communication for the month of June, we are tackling the image making with the help of presentation. What should be there? What should be the strategies? What you should be knowing? How you're going to address the audience? Who the audience should be? And what points and you should add up in your presentation for the effective communication. Yes. The aim of module number 4, the main aim of course is to highlight the effective learning strategies and skills that apply to both language and communication. This is the prerequisite of business communication, one of the prerequisites of the of business communication. And this is mainly focusing on the presentation making, and it's going to give you the in-depth knowledge of the effective strategies of organizational communication. Okay, now encoding and translating, it is related to the communication message. From first and second modules, I, focused on in detail about the communication. When you communicate, you should be aware about that. Your the message is conveyed to the person effectively, and how you're going to get that, when you're going to get the feedback. uh, you know so I'm just going to focus on this point. Most will adopt the communication model of egocentric, where they want to speak where or whatever they like to deliver. Different interpretations can be taken of the audience. In this point, the people just come, they want to impose their viewpoint. They just want to tell to the other people, neglecting the other things. The audience, what they want to know, what is the audience needs, what the requirement, what they want to listen. Definitely, in the political speeches, we can see that the people visit to the places, different cities or the towns, and address their needs. Basically what the people are requiring, that what are the basic needs for them. They put that in their of speech also, and the agenda also, to gain the confidence of the people, that mostly it is seen in our daily lives in the election campaigns. The effect, and in that, when it's not going to be, we have seen that these issues and the audience needs are not going to be addressed, not going to be considered. That is showing that this model is egocentric. Only one person is saying, and he just want to convey the message. He doesn't want to listen to the others. The communication process is a two-way process. You have to give and the take, understand, also get the feedback also. So one has to compromise also, and one has to get the benefits also. It's a very diplomatic, you have to take a stance, a very diplomatic stance. It's a win-win situation. You should go for the win-win situation all the time. Positively, effective approach is to encoding as well as translating the message at the same time. What is going to be the effective approach? As I told you right now, that what the message you want to convey, that is translated the same. That is known as the effective delivering of a message. We can see that, for example, from the advertisement of any product on the television, a company wants to deliver some sort of a message. Some people like that advertisement, some people don't like that. They talk about negative aspects of that. Oh, it's like that. Oh, it's wrong. We are not, enjoying by watching this ad. Some people are very positive about that. They enjoy just what they layer, and the other time they enjoy that ad. So in this way, they are translating the message differently, encoding differently the same message. The approach is to frame the message in terms that are better suited to the audience. In other words, a far more relevant and focused message for the audience to decode. Okay, you have to understand the audience basically. You just can't enforce your message to the audience which are not that educated. Just quoting the example from the election campaign, a politician comes to some village, where everybody knows, and it's very general information also, that the people are not that much educated. They can't understand the language, other language other than their you know native language. If the politician come and talk to them in a different language, they're not going to show the interest, because they will not able to put their interest in that, because they're not understanding that all. If their needs are not going to be addressed in that, what the audience wants, that is not going to be an effective framework for that campaign. It's not, we are not going to say that that is a very successful campaign that politician has conducted in that particular village, because the message was not conveyed effectively. There was a barrier of language. The language barrier was there. Different peoples have taken the different messages, whatever they understood from that message, they just taken it that from the gestures, from the postures of a person. So this should be kept in mind. The message, what you want to convey to the audience, to the particular audience, the encoding and the translating of the message should be very effective, and should be the same and similar to your views, what you want to convey. Understanding the audience. Yes, the objective of presentation is to deliver you and your message to the targeted audience. What your audience, you have to keep your audience in front of you before you're going to make up your make your presentation. The purpose of business presentation is to convince your client, to give your views with an effective presentation. It means that there's going to be something in the hard form in front of them. If you're speaking a lot of things and you're talking and conversing with them, but side by side, if there's going to be a presentation also, they will be able to, put a glass on that. They can read it out from the handout also, or from the presentation also, whatever that's in front of them. They will be able to better understand it. You can frame yourself in that scenario also. If in your classroom, if a book is in front of you, and the teacher is also there, teacher is saying verbally everything, and after that you must going to miss a few of the points after ending of the lesson, but the teacher read all that. But afterwards you're going to have a look of your book also in detail. You will get and reconnect your points with the book notes also, and then you're going to better understand with that. So the book is a tool in front of you, between your teacher and your and a student. What sort of audience? There is a classification of the audience, emotive people, directive people, reflective people, supportive people. The emotive people are people oriented. They tend to be social, animated, spontaneous, unstructured, and welcome changes. The people, what they like it, it depends on the nature of the person, generally. The person who takes quick decisions, and he gets excited whatever is presented in front of him, and take the decisions quickly, we call them emotive people. Directive people, they are high in dominance but low in sociability. They tend to be aggressive, intense, pushy, determined, opinionated. Directive people, giving the directions all the time, aggressive, know what they want, that is going to be done. They're not going to be very compromising people. They are stubborn, and but in a nice sense, we can frame them in a nice sense also. That what is good for them, they want everybody should follow that. They are not like the other views of the other people. We call them directive people. Reflective people, they are low in both dominance and sociability. They tend to be precise, questioning, aloof, serious, scientific and stuffy people. They have a lot of information in their brain, but they will talk about and giving the references according of the other people or the other documents or the other statements. They're going to relate the things to that people. So we call them the reflective people, because they can't come up immediately with the conclusion, with the decisions. They are going to reflect their decision. Oh, that has happened in that, and we can narrate like that. The stuffy, I can't make decisions very quickly. They take a lot of time. Supportive people, they are high in sociability and low in dominance. Their traits make them easy to recognize, being loyal, steady, solid, and reliable good workers. Yes, supportive, most of the people fall into this category. Actually, supportive, they support whatever the decision is over there. They take out the conclusion with the mutual agreement with the decision. What is good, what is not good for the company. These are the thing. They can very loyal. Whatever is going to be very good for the company, they are definitely going to opt that thing. So we have focused on the four type of the audience, people, understanding the audience. Okay, whenever you make a presentation, the reason for making a presentation for your effective communication, it's one of the strategies you applied for your ideas. You want to convince the other person, the audience, whatever you're going to speak, the other tool is going to be there, and the people will also read that out, and get the impression and take that impression along for a longer time. So audience profiling is important also. You should get to know about your audience before making the presentation. What sort of audience are going to be in front of you, what they want, what they need. and you're going to prepare your content as per your audience requirement. This is a very important aspect of knowing your audience. You may need to use all your investigative instinct to get the most advantage from this process. You should know the person, or if you're going for a meeting with a person, you should be knowing what sort of person is, what is the designation he's having, anything you are going to ask from the other people. Also, you get the feedback about that, of his personality, what he wants. Is a quick decision maker, by taking these sort of audience profiling, or a person profiling, you will be able to grasp some information, how you should act in front of that person or audience. You will often have a piece to gather the audience profile from a variety of snippets of information, such as their job titles and ages. You get to know that. There's also a hint. If he's an old person, is there, he's very calm. Everything. Oh, he's very calm. He's very good. You just go and talk your problem with him. He's definitely going to take out the solution. We are hearing this all in our daily lives all around us. So this also matters. You are understanding your audience, who is going to be the audience or a person. Other information that may prove useful includes any previous correspondence or conversations and in total stories passed on by colleagues. Yes, another tool. The other stories you got from the previous colleagues, or other conversation, any other correspondence, previous with your company. You get to know, oh, we did this, you're a new employee, you just frame yourself. You just got employed in a new organization, and you have got a job to correspond with a person of other company. If it's something, project, your company has done some project previously, you will open the file and you get to know about that person. You will get an idea what sort of project, and what are the steps they have taken, what was the minutes of the meeting in that. This will also going to give you all sort of information, how you're going to proceed further for your conversation, for your ideas, for your efforts for taking your project forward with that client. Okay, there are two types of business presentation. Basically, one is oral and a written presentation. Apart from that, there are different types of presentation, and the tools which the presentation strategies or tools. We are going to focus on that later on. But basically, that can be oral or written presentation. It is based on the factual information that is practiced on daily basis. You can see in your daily organization, the manager or the departmental head stand in front of the person. He just do the meeting and make the understand the other people. They're just done orally. That's known as oral presentation. He's just guiding all the employees. Written presentation is based on the written material, just like the presentation which we are doing it. That is in front of you, because why it is in front of you in the written form, to secure the important or complex information, to make you understand. And it is sort of you can take them, it is sort of a handouts, and we spend a little time to grasp, if somebody other is talking, and the other is listening, maybe the listener is going to miss a few of the points, or remember a few of the points. So in the written form in front of you, you can read it out, and it's a normal human brain functioning that by reading by oneself, the information is going to be retained more, positively, and there are less chances. You can say that there are less chances of losing more of the information. At least you're going to take most of the things, and by if you want to memorize it, definitely you are going to have revise it one or twice. The delivery of presentation by memorizing for small discussions. Reading not appropriate as lacks eye contact with the audience. When you are having a presentation, the reading and the audience in front of you, or you're just reading and you're not, contacting with your audience, that there's a lack of effective communication. So there's an eye contact should be over there. Speaking from notes highly recommended, which we normally we all do it as we are doing it right now in this module 4, because I'm talking in front of you, as to the camera, and the notes are also there. Mostly, this is the most effective, style of presentation, and recommended in our daily lives, and from the point of business communication. Yes, it is highly recommended. In this way, one is not going to miss any sort of any important point, because we normally take a lot of time in discussing and framing the syllabus and what should be in that. So there's a very less chances of losing any sort of important message which we want to impart to our audience. Designing a presentation, the techniques we are going to focus on the techniques. Think of a presentation in terms of a journey designed to take an audience to a pre-planned destination. When you're going to make a presentation, just keep that in mind, that you are going to make your audience enjoy. You're not going to only impart your ideas on them. You're going to take them along with you. You're going to take them along to a journey. How? Three clearly identifiable parts in presentations are introduction, followed by the main body, and finally a conclusion. Basically, you want to, convey your idea. You should know what's your introduction, what you want, the objective, the main aim of your presentation, what you want to, introduce to then the detailed things, what is going to be in your project, the main ideas, what you want to do, what you want, how you are going to work with your client, and what are going to be the outcomes. At the end, the conclusion, at the end, what you have expected, and this is going to be the conclusion which we have just framed of our product. A good guide for the breakdown of presentation is the 10-80-10 rule, whereby the introduction and the conclusion are each allotted 10% of the presentation time, while the main body comprising 80%. The main introduction, the main idea, a few bullet points, you should be knowing, very clear about your objective. From the first module, we are focusing on that. We should be very much clear in our mind what we want to convey. If that is going to be clear, then you are going to be able to convey more effectively. This is the basic rule. Yes, so then you're going to discuss the most of the part, 80% of the weightage and the explanation is going to be in your body. The objectives and the aim is 10% in the introduction, and the conclusion at the end is 10%. So keep this in mind when you're going to make your presentation. As often expressed like tell them. It's normally the 10-80-10 formula rule. It is often said like that. Tell them what you are going to do. Tell them, and tell them again what you have told them. Tell them means introduce your topic or idea or objective, and what you are going to do, tell them. In this 80%, it means the body of the your main idea, and tell them again. It goes with conclusion, means at the conclusion summarize your things. At the end, you have to summarize, you have to give the bullet points, and enforce your ideas again, main points again. So and a quick slides, of what you have already told them, in your body you have already discussed all that, but in the conclusion they're going to be summarized again. You're going to enforce your idea. The presentation is made for convincing your ideas to the audience. This is the basic why you make the presentation. So this 10-80-10 formula rule should be kept in mind. Okay. Another point, I did 5 key points. Yes, always try to develop 5 to 6 key points of your ideas. You should be knowing what the exact key points of your idea. What the main objectives or main 5, 6, not many, many. Combine them and 5, 6 because you have to focus. If they're going to be too many, it is difficult for the audience also to retain them. You will be able to enforce them. Again and again your main idea. This represents as much information as most people are able to take away from a presentation. Always prioritize the key points. What has the highest demand by the audience? Knowing your audience, when you are going to have the same the demand of the audience, you will be able to put your main objective at the top. If you're going to sell the your product in the market, definitely that your point must be in your mind, what the customer needs. Normally we see that we are hearing and we are looking around that, oh, this thing is very in the market, it is in demand. So that means that is we are listening to the audience, so we will take that thing at the top. First thing, we are just going to catch the attention of the customer or the audience, immediately. So that should be at the top. And the key points examples, I would like to quote few of the examples how you can make it. Few of the examples, like how will giving them laptops improve their sales volumes. Okay, we are talking about laptops. And how you are going to discuss with your client how this is one of the key points. How much will all this cost, and how long is the return on the investment? And there was a detailed cost benefit analysis. Another point, that your product is laptop and how you're going to work on it. Another point, would it be able to cut the sales force because of the increased production? How long will it take to procure this equipment and software, and how long will it take to carry out the training required? You can add, if you have 6 or 7 main things. If you're going to sell the things in the market, you should be at least 5 to 6 main stuff, and all the other things comes in the body. The other main thing, main product is there. What's going to be the sale? What is the requirement? Are you dealing with that? Are you tackling that the audience demand also? That should be kept in mind. Then you will be able to communicate properly and convey your ideas more positively. Okay. It's a little bit activity. I would like you to, you can join in via the microphone, or you can type 2 or 3 key points or one. It is up to you. I just give you a activity. You as representative of your company, and you want to increase the productivity of your products. You can take anything lab, all of them. After seeing the declining sales, you want to address the issue with your company's staff. For that, you need to make a presentation. What will the main key points should be there in your presentation? I hope so. The question is in front of you. You have a low, sale of your electronics, and you want to discuss this issue with your company staff. So the question is there. So show me 1 or 2 at least key points, the main, frame them according to the questions. Yes, I'm just waiting. One liner will be very much enough. Anybody wants to discuss, or you can write it down as well. And always raise the question if you can't understand it. I think so it's not very difficult. Yes, I have received from Zaria. The thing you should do to bring the sales up. Okay, what the things we should do to, okay, fine, very good, yes. What the things, what are the problems the company is being faced regarding the decline in sales. Any other one? This is one of the things, and you can take out and relate your points with the previous one, what you did earlier, and now if we are going to do this, can something like that related to the sales, you can do like that as well. Anyone want to share more points? Because we can't spend. Okay, and the one, okay, compare from different companies. Oh yes, Raja, we can. Customer engagement, we can compare with the different companies, what they are doing, and what we can do. We can relate the things. Customer engagement. Yes, yes. What the customer needs, all these comes in that. Yes. But we should be very much clear about the things in detail. What is the main cause, of all that, the decline of the sales, and always come up with the conclusion. Thank you so much. I think so. We should go ahead. Yes, business presentation process. What is going to be the process of business presentation when you're going to make it? Planning, organizing, developing, practicing, rehearsal, delivering. Okay, these are the points that should be kept in mind before making the presentation. You should be knowing the target audience, the main objective also, why you're making it. So as we have made that, key points, now we are able to make a presentation betterly. We know what we want to do, organization of the desired data. We are going to gather all the information related to our main objective. We are not going to tackle everything. We have to keep this in mind. What is our desired goal for the required, a meeting or for the presentation? Then developing the visual aids to support the discussion for interest seeking. Mostly you must have seen that, and you must be looking at the slides of mine as well. I always try to put one image on each slide, because it's going to give you more understanding when you get it. Oh yes, you're going to relate it with the discussion, with the conversation also, or you can immediately get another idea by looking at that. So it's also supporting the images on my slide are also supporting that, the lecture of mine. So the visual aids also support the presentation. Then the rehearsal comes. You have to get yourself fully equipped about the data, about the information before presenting in front of the audience. Then delivering. At the delivering stage at the end, in oral presentation, one has to maintain the eye contact with the audience, posture, dressing, gestures, etc. matter a lot. The tackling of the question with full knowledge and confidence. When you're going to practice this all, then you will be able to handle these all issues. You should be knowing how your gestures should be, your dressing should be there. It's a formal gathering. You should be, in the presentable form. And if it's informal, you can be a little bit relaxed. There's no need of the tie suit. These are the part of your daily meeting. As you go in, there's a dress code for everything in your, working place. Also, there is a dress code. Normally, it is not at all allowed to go in a t-shirt, your working place. And so one has to think about that. Also, you have to wear a proper shirt, and there's a tie compulsion also, we have seen in the banks also. So we have to focus this all, and keeping the audience and the scenario, what is the required for that particular meeting. And you should go with the full confidence, with the full knowledge of your data, and with you should be aware of and a full grasp on the your main objectives, what you want to deliver to the person. A perfect presentation. We have talked about the structure of that. So how you're going to be able to deliver a perfect presentation. The significance, what does it matter? How I grab their attention? What do I want them to do? Yes, they should. These points should be kept in your mind. How you are going, if these points are going to be in front of you, then you are going to effectively communicate to your audience how you're going to grab that should be in with you, with your objective. Then structure, how you're going to structuring your organization as per your objectives. That should be convincing. How you're going to convince them step by step, we are just going to get into that. Memorable, scalable, memorable. You want whatever is going to be in front of you, the people must take that information along for a longer time. So make it interesting. Put the images, visuals, put the things also, not only the text also. As a student, everybody knows how you learn by the practical work, by looking at the different things, why the advertisements are there, because that's in front of you in the form of visual images, that grasp the human attention, that applies to the presentation also. You have to work on your presentation per slide, and simplicity should be there for the business communication. No need of the catchy and the dark, slides, background slides, and put images wherever they are required, because you are here to persuade the other person. And it is better to have a few points, one point or few points. You can say that as per that should not be fully text oriented and fully jam packed. It should not be there, and there should be in the bullet points a few matching colors, very few fonts. Okay, no fancy fonts. Then rehearsal, present it loud, get feedback, room and equipment. You should be aware where you're going to prepare. You should be fully equipped with that. Take along your laptop. Be prepared as you go for your test. I always take it like your presentation, and always ready to get the feedback and present it with confidence. Providing the handouts, providing the supporting material in the form of handouts sometimes necessary to make the audience understand your complex data. So it is another tool for, with the presentation side by side, you provide the handouts to the audience. Or always provide a blank space when you're giving the audience the handout, because if they're going to listen you also, they're going to read that. The text also, that is supporting material which you have given. It can be in the form of the graphs or the text, whatever you're explaining. If they don't understand it, they will be able to write something in front of that, and they will raise hands for making for any ambiguity if there is over there. Handout can be explained in always in any form, as I said earlier. If that's not fit in the slides, then the handouts are used, for that purpose. Things to remember while preparing slides, that's very important, for the business communication purposes, and for other, you can take it for the other, daily purposes also, but it matters. We are just going to focus in the other slides, what sort of information. It's not necessary every approach of presentation should not be having that much text. It matters. I'm framing this all right now from the business point of view. The background, the color of the slides should be very clear and readable. No fancy text. Text format should be simple, readable, understandable. The data presentation via graph, diagrams, visual aids, bullet points, animation, motion, keep this in mind. There's no need of many animations and emotions on per slide. That's going to the people are going to get confused also. Make it simple. Simplicity is the best thing. Arrangement of slides and design the proper uses of technology. Make use of technology is going to give your impression very positive. Okay, good key points for structuring your slides. Bullet points is recommended, mostly not more than 6 points on one slide, generally. and not more than 6 points, because there's going to be a space, and gives the reader to read them effectively. 18 point font is mostly recommended. That's it readable. It depends on you, but generally 18-point font, you can consider it. Light color background is recommended. Most recommended to use official a template of company, if you have, or if you're working with university, or if they have any organization, they have their logos, the templates. It's an also give very influential impression to the others also, and very look very professional as well. So consider that. In that case, graphs are considered beneficial by presenting through words and charts, not going to make each part over animated. At the conclusion, we can take out that that should be simple with less words, light colored, font should be readable and clear. Then just have a glance on this slide, just for the readable purposes. On the left side of mine, it is written good. Yes, it is readable, very clear. Immediately I get to know in the March. Okay, that's the highest frequency in the month of March. On the right side, there's not readable. I can't read that out. The figures are not clear. So there's the bad. I just want to show that should be readable and the clear thing. Put one image on one slide. If it's not, and most of the cases, still you think that it is not readable, you can, give in the form of the handout. Then impact making through impressive presentation. An effective presenter needs to be flexible, energetic, and enthusiastic. Audience not only respond on your ideas, but also respond on your voice and presentation. You need more than a well-written presentation to make an impact. You also need to do it in a lively, flexible, interesting way. Your voice is going to be, dependent how you're going to, when you're going to raise the voice, the tone, you're going to work on that also. You should go with your excitement, with an energy, and you have to grab the attention of the audience. That should be kept in your mind, inspire your confidence, stimulate your imagination, and develop your understanding about when you're going to have full knowledge of your material or your ideas. Then you will be able to grab the attention of the others. You're going to present it excitingly to the others. This slide is going to focus on the 10 effective presentation styles. The visual presentation style is supported by the visuals. A presenter is speaking in front of you, and is going to be supported on the on the slides by the visuals only, no text. The post presentation style, that is different presentation style that people do opt that, and when they apply that, this applies to energetic people when they want to sell their idea. Quick, what they just make the quick, slides of, and want to show and to the audience or the customer, that style is known as coach presentation style. No details, just the target things with the presentation. Instructor presentation style, complex subject, make your audience understand with visuals and documents. Instructor means instructions when it's going to be supported by both, with the presentation and with the visuals, also with the documents and the visuals. Free-form presentation style, it is not supported by any sort of presentation. The presenter knows what he wants to say without any slides. Then storytelling presentation style is known for relating your experiences, your things, by making this related to your or personal or anybody's story. That's also impressive. The connective presentation style, audience feedback is required. Company needs feedback from their customer. You're connecting with your audience. You're getting the feedback also. When what you're conveying, you're going to get the feedback. Then you're going to answer that also, and you're going to say your company is going to afford it, or going to you're going to take the conclusion out of it. So this is known as connective presentation style. Then another one is persuasive presentation style, when you are there only for convincing your audience. forcefully, convincing, and you want to deliver from every aspect. You don't want to leave any point out of it. That is known as persuasive presentation style, the interactive presentation style in the form of a webinar session. What we are doing, Lessig presentation style. Lessig is a professor of Harvard University. This is, related to him. 15 seconds on each side, a rapid presentation. He doesn't spend, 15 seconds on each slide, and the name has been given on his name. Then educational presentation style, the last one, supported by visuals and detailed information. For the educational purposes, you need the handouts, the detailed information, all the notes also. So it's a little bit in detail, a little bit, and that's going to be that what we are doing right now. So because in this way, we want to convey effectively, and in the form of notes also, and making you understand also with the form of the visuals also. So R is an educational presentation style. Okay, we are going to now focus on the sixth step for effective presenter. Practice. You have to make yourself familiar with your material. There's a need to make yourself confident about what your understanding of topic. Familiarize, with the main thrust of your presentation. Very much clear about your idea, what you want to convey. Direct, engage your audience. Then you will be able to enjoy more. If one is speaking throughout and not involving the audience, that's going to be boring. The audience is also going to get bored. They are going to lack interest. So the eye contact and questioning and making them, involved in your presentation, that's going to work. Reading can also reduce your voice to a monotone, removing energy and enthusiasm from your delivery. Learn your presentation or have an alternative with you in the form of written notes if multimedia gets shut down. Always prepared for all the things. Not only remember that you're going to rely on your presentation only. You should have the in the form of the handouts, take out the print out of the slides, or you should have the point if something happens in between, or projector shuts down, or the bulb blasts, of the projector. Anything can happen. So you should not, stop immediately or forget your purpose of coming. Your point is to convey your ideas, whatever has done. The material in your hand should be there, as and the presentation is also there. If something happens, you should not stop. Confidently convey your idea and keep going through all your things. Assertiveness. The presenter should be assertive instead of aggressive. The aggressiveness should be eliminated. Make decision whether you want to be either formal or informal. Make deliberate choices about your physical style and stick to these. You should be knowing your audience, the scenario, the situation. It is going to be formal or informal. Make yourself confident enough to handle any situation. If anything happens, just be confident. You are there for your conversation confidently, and maybe going to make your audience, be a part of your conversation, and make them enjoy your conversation. So the number third, audience contact. Establish the eye contact with your audience to make them realize that you're really interested in talking with them. When you realize, and time to time you're going to look at each and every person. If it's a less audience and mostly, and if there's a large gathering, you can pick anybody. If you're asking question from the back, the front, you're going to shuffle the audience. So that's going to create a confidence among, and that they're going to be a part of your conversation. Gestures, eye contact, language, spoken contact. From your gestures, you can, attract your body, extend your, arms, and go towards them. They feel good. The other people are also, he's also introducing, the presenter is also introducing to the other people. This is one of your gestures. And eye contact is one of the another for gesture from your side to have an audience context. And language, you can use the name of that person also, if you know that, and introduce that. Yes, he has said so. Yeah, yeah. And you can quote the name of that. Oh, he is laughing. I think so. I'm also laughing. Just make a conversation lively, like this. Then spoken contact, yes, by the, by speaking also, you can have a contact with your audience. There are different styles of contacting with your audience. Then voice, in the voice, volume, pace, and pitch depends a lot. It's a powerful tool, and you should be very much aware that your voice is quite loud enough to reach your audience, and your pace should be understandable. It should not be too fast, not to be slower. That the slower shows that is a cautious, tone. So you should avoid this. All pitch, practice your page. That should be good enough. Make your audience understandable. Find different ways of saying the different sentence. Practice here, the practice required as well. Then breath. During your presentation, use pauses after questions or at the end of sections to allow comfortable breathing patterns. If you're anxious about making a presentation, your breathing will become fast and shallow. You should be very much, the practice matters here, that you should not run in a fast pace. You should enjoy your conversation as you are talking at your home. Don't be afraid to slow down the pace of your presentation if you're breathing uncomfortably. Take few deep breaths before you make your presentation. Make a conscious effort to slow down your breathing down and taking in more air with each breath. You have to make yourself comfortable. It is all about your style of communication with the audience. Then drink. This is a very important point. If you're feeling thirsty, or want to avoid any thirst during the meeting, and make your throat wet, always go for the lukewarm water, or room temperature water. Don't go for the very hot, cold tea, water, or chilled water. That's going to affect your voice. Be careful that not to gulp ice cold water before you go on. This constricts your throat and affects the quality of your voice. Yes. Okay. Engaging presentation tips. Here we are going to focus on the engaging, how you're going to engage your audience with you, so the boredom effects are not going to be there. Tell the audience the story behind the data, visual journey, turn into conversation. Okay. Present your information in the form of story instead of only in the form of graphs and tables. If you're reading all from the, the slides, and, you have to change the, a little bit, create a story in between, or relate from the real scenarios or situation. Then you can take your, and the point, you can take your audience with a visual journey. Show some visuals, the some short story or a video, they can relate that, and you can converse, and take the ideas from the audience also. In that, the audience are also going to feel very confident, and as they get the chance to be a part of, of your presentation. Engaging the successful talks a little miracle. The storytelling moves people. Yes, we have seen that. When you always ask the other people also, this thing has happened. Has anything happened in your life like this? When it is going to move people. Oh, it's a real story. We watch the movies. Oh, based on the real stories. That's going to move us. And the audience expects you to be nervous. Always keep this in mind, and it's a natural body response that can actually improve your performance. You should be knowing that the audience are there. They are going to make you confused. They're going to ask you questions that you can get confused. But that's improve your. Yes, Lobna, the recording can be shared, I guess. I will convey to the management. Okay, Lobna, that's your question. Will the recording be shared? I will tell the LearnPick, management to give you the recording, and I will follow it up. I don't know they gave the recordings or not. Okay. But I would like you to have that, because these are sort of the notes also, and they normally they can share the slides to the students. Yes. Okay, Raja and Lobna, you want the last presentation, please, even last, please. Okay, the third module, right? Okay, I will convey your points to the management. And last time, more students also told me, and they said definitely they are going to convey that, and they deliver that presentation to them. I will convey that, and I will they are going to respond to you related to that, and it is my player. My things are going to be shared because these are all sort of notes. Thank you. Okay. Now coming on the next, the element of humor. Okay, a note about the introducing element of humor in your presentation. Humor should only be used when you know it will work. To create liveliness in your conversation. All the seriousness is going on. There should be a touch of humor in between. Everybody going to get relaxed. Humor needs to be relaxed and confident. If used badly, it will only heighten senses of awkwardness, anxiety. If these are already present, if you know you can, and if you feel it is appropriate to do so, then you can add it up. And how you're going to do that, not and what is the suitable for that span, you can add it up. That's going to make your presentation lively. The audience are going, and everybody's going to enjoy the presentation. Now, at the last, I would say the 2 points in a nutshell, that be yourself and avoid any sort of disturbing behavior. Always be original. We are not like the actors, classic actors. We are going to follow that. You are there to convince the other people in a nice way, in a good gestures. The originality matters. That's going to attract you. So avoid any disturbing behavior, any sort of behavior that can create aggressiveness and anxiety among audience. The tone and the usage of words matter a lot. Always deliberate and clear in your voice and physical actions. So you are there for the win-win situation. You're not there for fighting. Leave aggressiveness. Originality should be there. Any sort of disturbance, all positivity. You should go with the positive mind to convince them, then you will be able to grab your desired goal. I would like to leave you with the self-assessment questions here. After having all these slides and all the modules, that's going to enforce you to make notes by yourself, or going through your all the module what you have learned from these 4 business communication modules. First question is that discuss how the speaking and presentation skills are primary requirements for a successful manager. We have practiced it, we have discussed it, and if it's sort of this question is there, you can note it down, and at home you can practice it out, you can relate it, write one paragraph about this, then you will be able to understand how much you understand the topic. Another question number 2, the communication is taken as the sum of all things, what a person does and what he wants to do for making him understandable in the mind of others through public presentation. Discuss and elaborate the statement. Yes, regarding the communication, the self-assessment question number 3, write a note on the need and importance of public speaking in business communication. You can write it down. You can take that this is all speaking, business communication. We are communicating, all the things by the help of these tools also. Need and importance. So then you will be able to merge all that, and there's going to be a full-fledged handout of business communication in one go of 2 pages or 3 pages. Then you will be able to, you have gone through all the modules, and now you have got hold of your notes also, what you have understood. You can write it down, as a practice at home. I would like to introduce inspiring quote of Jim Rohn. Effective communication is 20% what you know and 80% how you feel about what you know. That matters a lot. That's if you get into the depth of this quote, then you're going to feel more confident when you know your thing, your desired goal, your objective, and you have full grasp of your knowledge. That is dependent on your 80% of energy. You can take it in that sense, and then you will be able to communicate effectively when you have a full control of your information, of your material. You know, that's very inspiring, and that you can take it as a sum up of this all of this module. Any questions? You are most welcome with the questions if you have it. Otherwise, I'm always available on the this email address that is in front of you. Any questions, students? Many thanks for being here. If anybody wants to, I'm here for a while if you want to. Otherwise, I have already given you the questions. Thank you, Nataraj. Thank you. And I will definitely going to convey your two queries about the recording and the presentation of the module 3 and this one. Okay. I will convey to the management. They are going to definitely going to get back to you. What the initial point need to start a presentation as if some material but still afraid to start. Okay, Raja Aldhudu, what is the initial point need to start a presentation? Okay, you have to focus on your objective, what you want to convey. Okay, Raja, that should be kept in your mind. Then who is going to be your audience? Okay, the number 2, audience, what they want to. Then you have to convey very convincingly, persuasively, what are the main points, what are the key points, as we have done this practice also. But stay free to start. Okay, when you're going to make your presentation, I think so, what I am understanding from your question, how to make the presentation. Yes, I have already told you the introduction, the body, and the conclusion of your things. First of all, your ideas should be cleared in your minds, then the material, you should have a material for the academic purposes. You should read that 2 or 3 books or other materials or different materials. You should have a grasp or full grasp on your information. Then start one by one, how you're going to introduce, why you have introducing this, why there's a need of it. You have to distribute these objective into many sub objectives, sub parts, and then first by first, then see you are going able to make your presentation. And the body, then explain your ideas, why there is a need of it, why you are doing this all. My presentation is in front of you. You can take the example, because I framed this all on the presentation, the image making to the presentation. I distributed it. How you're going to do that, why we need it in the business communication, why I have made it the module 4, because tool, and I touched the tools and the strategies, how a presenter should act, how we are going to improve our slides. I just focus on that. I just distributed these all into the points, what should be mentioned, and how you're going to make your presentation, all the techniques, all the tools, and what is the most suitable presentation style for the desired audience. I've picked up the educational, because I wanted to give you the maximum information to the text and the images, and the practice also. This is up to you, because it is more effective in this webinar session as being a student. So you have to work out on your conclusion, the practice and learning, and after all, whatever you have explained this all, conclusion, reinforce those points. Okay, Raja, you have to reinforce at the conclusion you are there for presenting your presentation. Why? Because to convey your ideas, and with the objective of that your ideas should be taken away with by the people also. You should take away with that. How impressively you're going to do that with the image making. If you want to give the handout, that's also going to be very good. They will take it out afterward. They will definitely read it out. They're going to remember for a longer time. So these are the techniques, and never be afraid of making the presentations at all. You should work on that, and take and subdivide divide your objective and into the different parts. Then you will be automatically your presentation is going to be made. Thank you so much for all of you for being here. My player Raja. You're very much clear and encouraged. Thank you so much, my player. And thank you so much. The business communication has module has ended in this month. This is the last module. And from the next month, I'm going to introduce the public speaking modules. And I'm sure you must have some interest in that also. That's related with the business communication. In detail, I'm going to distribute into four modules. If required, that can be distributed more than that if somebody wants to have it in the other month. I'm looking forward to all of you in the speaking module, public speaking module in the month of July. Best of luck. And I'm going to convey your questions to the management. They're going to get back to you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Yes, Nataraj, take an English language session for IELTS. Yes, Nataraj, I have introduced in the month of May all my IELTS sessions, 4 sessions. If you want to make me revise them, you can drop the query, or I can convey this point also if they want me to introduce it again, because this was based on the 4 modules, all the listening, reading, speaking, and writing module. I think so you missed that all. I don't have any problem at all. It's going to be my pleasure to introduce it again if they want it. Otherwise my recordings are with them. I'm just going to Nataraj your conveying your this point also, because I've already done this. Let's leave it with the management. My notes are there. If you want a personal, coaching for that, you can contact on this email. I'm always available, definitely. Any other question? Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a great day, and I'm looking forward on the next Friday with the new modules of public speaking. Thank you. Bye bye.